These are the kinds of technology stories that hide in plain sight: a lake, a lamp, a printer, a feed, and a toy connector, all changing how systems work. The twist is never just the object, it's the mechanism behind it. At John Deere World Headquarters, a lake sits beside the building and helps with air conditioning. The offices still make heat, because computers, lights, and people warm the air inside. A cooling system has to move that heat somewhere else. That is where the lake comes in. It acts as a heat sink, a place where the cooling system can dump heat into a much larger body of water. Instead of relying only on conventional air conditioning, the headquarters uses the site itself as part of the cooling path. That can reduce the need for a separate, noisy load on the building. So the calm surface is doing infrastructure work below the eye. What looks like scenery is also part of the campus cooling system, tied to the lake. A mayor asked an artist to save a dying lantern industry with a lamp. That request became a Akari. The lantern trade was fading, and the old paper shades needed a new purpose. Noguchi was asked to help rethink that craft. Noguchi answered with Akari, using paper as the skin and light as the core. The name means brightness, and the form stayed simple. That made the sculpture work as a practical lamp, not just an art object. People could place it on a table and use it at home. A fragile frame became a familiar object people still switch on. You can still see the craft in the paper, ribs, and glow. Dorfromantik is a board game with a strange family tree. Its path points first to a video game, not straight to the tabletop. That matters because the video game itself was already borrowing from board games, so the direction of influence had to travel both ways. The loop is the point: board game thinking shaped a video game, and that video game helped shape Dorfromantik back into a physical form. The idea crossed from cardboard to screen, then back to tiles. In practice, that meant the board game could feel instantly legible. Players saw tiles, edges, and patterns they already understood from the screen. So Dorfromantik lands as a stack of hex tiles with a memory behind it. You can trace the path from tabletop to screen and back to the table. A doll opened its mouth and spoke, but the voice came from a machine inside the toy. That was Thomas Edison's idea. Edison was already a telegraph inventor and seller of machines. He knew how to turn a technical system into something people could buy. Inside the doll body, the talking trick was a playback mechanism. The toy did not need a performer nearby, the machine supplied the voice. That turned a nursery toy into a packaged audio device. The strange part was not the doll's face, but the mechanism hidden under it. So Edison's talking dolls were a mechanical novelty, built to make recorded sound feel like a speaking toy. The real object was the little machine tucked inside the doll. The office printer that became the standard was loud enough to hear through a hallway. It was the Epson MX-80. Dot matrix printers used impact pins, tiny metal points that struck an ink ribbon onto paper. That made characters one dot at a time. The MX-80 fit office reality. It was useful, dependable, and broadly affordable. Those three traits mattered more than a quiet print room. So businesses kept choosing it for everyday pages, memos, and forms. Over its market lifespan, that steady demand made it the best-selling model. What stayed behind was not a sleek shell, but a page covered in pin dots. In office after office, that sound became the rhythm of work. This feed puts the newest post on top, even when there is no algorithm ranking it first. That means the main feed is reverse chronological. Posts are arranged by time, so recent uploads appear before older ones. Instead of predicting engagement, the system uses recency as the rule. Newer posts rise first, older posts slide down the timeline. The result is a feed that feels more like a timeline. People scan faster for fresh posts, because the order matches the clock. So the main feed becomes a moving record of what just arrived, not a prediction engine. One refresh, one post, one timeline. Two construction toys can sit side by side and still refuse to connect. The free universal construction kit was made for that mismatch. Each system uses its own connector shape, so the pieces lock only with their own kind. That leaves every toy line in a separate box. The kit solves the physical mismatch with adapter pieces. It bridges 10 otherwise incompatible construction toys, so one system can grab another. Once the adapters are in place, mixed bricks can join the same build. Kids get more parts, and the old boundaries between brands start to disappear. A table that held separate sets now holds one larger building pool. The simple bridge is a handful of adapters and a pile of pieces. Between 1906 and 1914, one balloonist kept appearing in records, crashes, and court trouble. Julian P. Thomas was not just in the air, he was everywhere. Thomas worked as a balloonist and a doctor. He flew long distance with his wife, his son, and aviator Roy Nabenshu. Then the showmanship turned shaky. He claimed ballooning records, crashed a wind wagon, and kept pushing new machines and schemes. After that came the bread and the clinic. He sold mislabeled bread, then was arrested for providing fraudulent medical advice. A balloon basket, a wind wagon frame, and a court record sat in the same story. The trail runs from skyward spectacle to a bread label on a counter. If you like seeing how small technical choices shape bigger behavior, you'll want to revisit these stories. Comment with the one mechanism you'd never heard of, and subscribe for more Footnote Vault.